When I got ready to put the house on the market, I began to look at what were the attributes I thought would ensure the sale. And not only was my feeling that, but our agent's felt that that sunroom was going to be just a stellar point. And it proved to be just that. As the home was set up that it was a split level, and when you came up the steps, one of the first things you saw was the sunroom. And it had these lovely glass doors, and so it was apparent from the first moment you stepped in the house. And what it did was let us live in the outdoors through all 4 seasons, let us be able to enjoy the sound of the rain on the roof, or to watch the snow fall, to enjoy our backyard, and to have probably the most comfortable room related to temperatures, both in the summer and the winter, that we had in the house. And so it paid off in all those aspects for us, and I miss that today. I think it was I probably have 2 favorite seasons: the spring and watching the flowers and that around the patio that we had created around the sunroom come up, but then also the winter and watching the snowfalls, but also being able to decorate it and have the neighbors around the back of the house and the neighbors on the side comment on being able to see our decorations and to celebrate the room with us. You know, I think to a neighbor, everyone wished they had done that or could do that. And I always would say, you can go and have this same experience. I think we worried about it being not being private, because it was glass. It had a roof, but it was glass, and I never felt like we were on exhibition or in a fishbowl. It just was actually became a very quiet, private place for us to spend that downtime that you want and have in your life. I think the other piece I liked about it was the endurance of it. It looked as fresh when I sold the house 12 years later as it did when it was put in. I was very pleased with how it wore. The construction project was right on time, and everything was neatly cleaned up, and I was ready to go once they turned over the keys. And then interactions needed for any repairs of that was very minimal over that 12-year period. It was actually a wonderful place to go watch the storm. I knew I was, even though I was around glass, I mean, I would be safe about it, but it was a nice place to be. I was amazed at the HVAC unit in it. It is, I don't know a lot about it, but it looked kind of small, but it was the best temperature regulated room in my home. It would crank out just enough, the appropriate amount of heat in the winter, and it was the most comfortable room in the summer, no matter what the temperature was. And then if it was spring, I could open the screens and go, just sit out and have a glass of wine and read a book. When I sold my house, the neighborhood had been a lot of first-time owners in the home, and so I was one of those to do some upgrades and to add some value to the properties and I think elevate the neighborhood. But I think when we got ready to figure out the pricing of it and to do comps of what had sold around the neighborhood, as well as what I thought some of the immediate houses around me, I felt very comfortable and confident that we were going to get the asking price and maybe even a little bit higher, because I had something that differentiated me from the rest of my neighbors. I had a room that not only was something nice to have. It was an essential part of the living space now. And I got every penny that I asked for in my asking price, and it ended up having multiple bids on it. And the individuals that bought it told me that one of the differentiators was the Four Seasons room. They had seen many houses, but that was one of the things that made this house different to them. You know, in our stages of life, we had to take the opportunity to downsize, and so I made that choice. And leaving that sunroom was a sad day. I think about where I live now. It's a wonderful place, and I have a small patio, but there's only limited time in the year that I can use that patio. And if I think about I could be in my Four Seasons room all 4 seasons, that was a joy for me, but it's sad now because I miss that. I would recommend Patriot sunrooms to any and all friends. And I've had the opportunity to have friends come over to see the room, and they walk away sold. I get the chance to talk about knowing the owners, knowing that they are respectable business people and that the value is there, and I would never hesitate to say, go buy a Patriot sunroom.